I think Saturday night worked out perfectly for them, as well as they could have hoped or envisioned. 51-26, scoregami. That's scoregami. A unique final.
Who uses that phrase?
KNC's been talking about it forever.
Scoregami?
Yeah. And then I see it. And then I see it on Twitter everywhere. It was the 1,072nd unique final score in NFL history. Whatever. But 51-26, Dak throws 5 touchdowns. He passes Romo for most touchdowns in franchise history. Would he add an extra game? No, he missed the Minnesota game. So he did it in the same amount of games as Tony. 37 TDs for Dak. Romo threw 36 back in 2007. But what were the goals? Dak talked about it, and Amari and CD talked about it afterwards. Offensive momentum and rhythm. And yes, it came against backups, but what do we always say on this show? It's not what we believe, it's what they believe. How good do they feel going into the postseason about their offense? What about the run defense, which has a lot of people worried against San Francisco? We'll get to that in a little bit. But offensive rhythm, momentum, check. Dak was making some really nice throws. It wasn't just dink and dunks that went for 75 yards after the catch. Mike McCarthy's goal, which he talked to us about on Friday, playing well in the elements, in the cold, and obviously most important, do not get injured, and no major injuries that we're talking about after this one, which didn't have Tyron Smith and Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons. I don't know how this could have gone any better, RJ.
No, I don't think it could have either.
And I was screaming at one point. So this game, rather than it be, dramatic and you're sitting in your living room yelling and screaming, my living room reaction was every time Dak would come back out on the field. We're taking bets in the commercial breaks. Like, is he going to go? Is he going to go? And then he's running out. We're like, no! Ah! It's like someone dunking on somebody. And I was like, all right, you're gambling and now you're risking it. I would have probably gotten him out 2 series earlier, but this worked out great.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I didn't really have I was surprised they kept him in as long as they did. I wasn't upset they did. But then again, I am a complete and total in-the-moment guy. All I care about is my entertainment value at the time that I'm alive. That's it. That's all I care about. Live in the now. I worry about the later. And that's so I was totally cool with it because it's a Saturday night, man. What did you do as soon as Dak came out of that game? You click. That's what people do. Click. Not interested. Why? Preseason game. That's what happens. So I'm worried about my entertainment value. And watch this game. My kids, they got all they could do to stay off their phones during this game, right? It's all they could do. So I was okay with them leaving him in strictly for my pure entertainment value, which is really the only thing I care about because I'm a selfish human being. I'm comfortable.
Dak running up the tunnel, telling reporters the real S starts now. Mike McCarthy was very sarcastic afterwards, saying, "Not bad for someone in a slump, huh?" God, I'd hate to see what type of season he had if he didn't have that slump, as they have that chip on their shoulder.
They do.
That came from Jerry on this show when we asked him about it.
Man, he plays his best against his division foes. When he sees they're
6-0 against the East. That's what they finished the year, and they beat the others by a combined score of 240 to 107. It was an average score of 40 to 18. Against the NFC East.
Yeah, I mean, like that they really are. Like,
now 25-6 in his career.
And yes, I mean, go look. Like when he is used to seeing a team multiple times, and there's no tricks, he's not getting surprised. And it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt. Those teams are bad.
Yeah, you're right.
But he's put up a ton of points. He always puts up a lot of points against the NFC.
He's cracked 40 points. He cracked 40 in 4 of their 6 games this year. He hit 50 twice.
Yeah, I mean that's what he does against the NFC East. And now comes the tough part. He's not unless Philadelphia goes on a magical run and they meet in the NFC title game, they're not going to face the NFC East. They're going to face, like here, a San Fran team that they didn't face this year. Then they'll face a Tampa team they did face, which is good.
Yeah.
And then Green Bay, which they didn't face. But look, the key is like this whole weekend was about one thing, and that was getting on the other side of the bracket. That's it.
Yep.
It was about one thing.
And health.
health, and get on the other side of the bracket.
Yes, absolutely. And I didn't do my usual, I didn't spend the normal amount of time on star up, star down, because this thing turned into a preseason game. Obviously, your star up for Dak, star up for Cedric Wilson. He has created some fun Gallup offseason discussions. 5 for 119 and 2 for Cedric Wilson. You got to give a star up to Dalton Schultz as well. He had 3 for 21 and 2 touchdowns. And Zeke got his 1,000 yards.
I know.
Zeke got his 1,000 yards. He was out there for a while. I'm like, is this guy banged up or not? I have no idea. Is he banged up or not as Zeke Elliott goes over 85?
Yeah, I mean, for him to get to 1,000, good for him. Now it's 17 games. He can do 1,000. So it's even easier. It's even a more worthless stat, 1,000-yard rusher. This is a nice little number. But now with 17 games, like if you don't get 1,000 yards, you should be out of the league. Dak's accuracy, I thought, was much better in this game. So you got to give a start to that. You got to give. Cedric was fantastic, and he has done. His routes are a little bit different than what you have with Gallup, but I think Dak likes throwing those kind of routes, and I think that really kind of makes his game conducive to what this offense really wants to do.
Why does Leighton Vander Esch get a star up? Because I can't remember the last time I pulled a Leighton Vander Esch highlight.
Yes.
So, hey, I'm not gonna destroy him, or I'm not gonna make fun of him. I'm gonna be like, hey, you got your pick. Take it.
I'm happy he didn't become Jalen.
Yes.
That's a win for me. That was where my bar and standard was.
I'd consider re-signing him. It wouldn't be at a $9 million a year deal, but he's not going to get that anyway. I'd definitely consider re-signing Vander Esch. I mean, they need the depth at the position anyway, so why not?
All right, I do have a star down, and that is going to the kicker. Greg Zuerlein misses another extra point, so that's 6 extra points and 6 field goals on the season, but his own personal attorney is here to defend him.
Of course I am. He attempted 8 kicks. He missed one of them. I'm just talking about total kicks, right? Just the 1 field goal and then, 7 extra points. All right, the extra points are no longer chip shots. We don't consider those to be, automatic anymore. So going 7 of 8 is 87.5%, which is well above his season, which will put him 12th in the NFL for the average. So even the 12th bet, so 28 kickers, 30 kickers, 30. No, 20 kickers. My math. Holy cow, my math is bad. 20 kickers.
And your math.
Yes.
Also your bath.
Yes. 20 of the 32 NFL kickers would have done the same exact thing last night or worse. Saturday night. So I'm not upset. He missed 1 kick out of 8. That's 87.5%. Everybody's doing that except for, the elites of the elites, and he's not that. We've got to adjust your expectations. This is what he does. 7 of 8, you can deal with.
The only other option out there is Kai Forbath. He's a free agent.
Speaking of Bath.
Yeah, he's Kai Formath. He's a free agent, and he probably is a free agent for a reason. Even if you bring him in this week, let's just say you bring him in. What do you scare Zuerlein? Do you get him more focus, or do you mess with his head? I feel like, I know what they're going to do. They're not going to bring anybody in. So this is it. This is what we're going to have to live with. After the game, Zuerlein said, "You're supposed to make the kick. I focus on the miss. I have to do better." Luckily, we have an extra day here to get some more reps. So, that extra day should do it.
That extra day is going to kick in right there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, bringing in Kai Forbath is not going to scare a guy who's already scared. Greg Zuerlein's played in 16 games. Half of them, he's either missed an extra point or a field goal. Half of them.
All this, high-octane offense, a lot more attempts. In order to go ahead and have some of those misses, as the Cowboys set a franchise record for most points in a season. We told you that Dak passes Romo most TDs in a season in franchise history, and they set an NFL record for most players to score a TD in a year with 22. 22 different Cowboys scored this year. The Giants had 23 total touchdowns.
I mean, but it's a good thing they got rid of Jason Garrett. I mean, that really, like I said, I mean, their offense just took off ever since that. That's an insane stat. That's an insane statistic,
isn't it?
Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me! 21 TDs, where another team had 23. That's lunacy.